Hey everyone, good to be back with you. Last time on This is Turfgrass, we talked about the Turf Tech tool, what it is, what it does, and why it matters. If you haven't seen that episode, go back and watch episode number 1 on the Turf Tech tool. Today, we're going to talk about Moneyball for Turfgrass. Moneyball, one of my favorite movies. Brad Pitt portrayed Billy Beane, general manager of the Oakland A's. And this was in the time frame around 2000-2001 season. General manager Jonah Hill portrayed Paul Podesta. Paul was the statistician who was giving Billy Beane the information that he needed on how to buy high-performing players at the lowest cost. One of the best scenes was when they had the scouts in the room, and they're going to be hiring new and selecting and drafting new players for the team. And the scouts were talking about, hey, Billy, this player has a great swing. He's got big arms. And Billy looks over at Jonah Hill and he's asking, that's interesting, but does this guy get on first base or not? That's all I want to know. This is kind of what this is. It is selecting Turfseed varieties that are going to give the performance that you require for your turfgrass, your golf course, your lawns, your sports fields. That's what Turf Tech does. We have this set up from last time. We're looking at the National Turfgrass Evaluation Program, NTEP data. This is the 2008 Bentgrass Fairway Test. And I'm using this because it's a great way to illustrate what Turf Tech does with a small number of varieties. Some of these tests get 100, 150 varieties in them, and they don't even fit on my screen. But everything Turf Tech does with all of the species, you're going to be seeing how this works here. And I got a really small data set that'll fit on the screen. That's why I chose this one. So let's play Moneyball for Turfseed. And let's just see, we are a golf course. We've got golf course fairways. We want to make a decision based on facts on our fairways. First, dollar spot. Number one disease on bent grass fairways. We want dollar spot, high performance, high resistance to dollar spot. Flagstick, there were 6 trials, 6 states. Flagstick had a perfect score, 6 out of 6, 100% turf performance index, highly resistant to dollar spot. That's great. Look at Barracuda, 83.3. They were 5 out of 6 states. Going down the list towards the bottom, Pencross, Princeville, Authority, Crystal Blue Links, and T1 did not make the high-performing group one time. That means they're going to get more dollar spot on those fairways. You got a lot of acres on fairways versus greens and tees. That means you're going to have to deal with dollar spot issues, like maybe put down different fungicides, more expensive fungicides, adjust the rotation on fungicides so you don't have dollar spot disease. So that helps us make high-quality decisions on dollar spot. Let's take a look. Here's the attributes on this slicer right here. I can take my slicer and I can move up and find all the attributes in the NTEP trials for this particular fairway trial. Genetic color, spring green up, color in the fall. I can slide this down, look at things like microdochium patch. I can look at pythium, red thread, pink snow mold. We can look at seedling vigor scores. We can look at quality groups. We can look at everything from wear tolerance, leaf texture. So we got all kinds of choices. What matters most is what matters for your particular golf course. So let's just play around with this. Let's just say, for instance, we want dollar spot, high resistant to dollar spot, and we want dark green color. So if we choose genetic color, now we're starting to build a Turf Tech performance chart. We've got color and we've got dollar spot. And the ranking ranks them from high to low. Number 1 on the list with 2 attributes is Benchmark from Turf Merchants. Overall Turf Performance Index is 72.4. You see the color is 61.5, meaning 61.5% of the time. Benchmark made the top performing group. And by the way, there were 13 states in the genetic color charts. 13 states, 61.5% of the time, Benchmark made the top performing group. Dollar Spot, 83.3% of the time. The Turf Performance Index gives it a 72.4. Right now, it's ranked number 1. Look at Flagstick, number 1 on Dollar Spot, 100% index on Dollar Spot, 23.1 on color. Flagstick's not going to be as dark green as Benchmark is, but that's a decision now we can make. Do we want to take a look at a high-performing Flagstick on Dollar Spot, maybe to reduce our fungicide usage? But with a score of 23.1, we might want to adjust nitrogen or micronutrients or iron applications or something to make sure we've got the right amount of color. Without these Turf Tech charts, I don't know how we would make these high-quality decisions. Interesting. Look at T1. Look at T1. Jacqueline Seed, now they're owned by Barenbrug. T1 had a 0 turf index on Dollar Spot, meaning it's going to get Dollar Spot. Look at the genetic color score. It's the only one that had a 100% ranking on color. Getting 100% on 13 states on color is not easy to do. Now that we know we got a very dark green variety of bentgrass in T1, now we can take a look at what do we want to deal with. Do we want to deal with a color issue or do we want to deal with a Dollar Spot issue? Let's add another one here, just for the fun of it. Let's go to seedling vigor. We're going to buy seeds, so we want these seeds jumping out of the ground quickly. Now we've got genetic color. We've got Dollar Spot. Now we're adding seedling vigor. Number 1 at the top is still Benchmark from Turf Merchants, 40% on the seedling vigor score. It's a little in the lower half of the scores. You've got a look at Flagstick. Look at Flagstick. 100% on Dollar Spot, 23% on genetic color, 0 on seedling vigor. We sell a lot of Flagstick with Heritage. We like Flagstick a lot. So what we do is, if we know the seedling vigor is not what it is compared to some of the other varieties on here, we add a Gravity SL PGS to it. It increases germination by about 8 to 9 days faster than it would otherwise. So that helps us deal with what do we need to know about Flagstick so we can manage it properly. You can go down the charts here. Princeville. Princeville is an old variety from Site 1. Seedling vigor score of 100%. That stuff germinates out of the ground fast. But you start looking at the color and the Dollar Spot, not good. I mean, those are very low scores. So you could have a fast germinating bentgrass, but it's not going to give you the performance you need. This is how we're looking at these varieties and how we're playing Moneyball with Turfseed to get the varieties, the right attributes that we need for our course. Let's do one more. Density is a good thing for a variety of reasons. There's 3 density scores, spring, summer, and fall. Let me add those, spring, summer, and fall. Now we're looking at color, Dollar Spot, seedling vigor, and spring, summer, and fall density. Density is good for all kinds of things. Fewer weeds, ball roll across the green, helping to slow down Poa annua invasion in the fall. Number 1 ranking right now is Barracuda from Mountain View Seed. Genetic color isn't quite what some of the other ones are, 23.1. Dollar Spot is really good, 83.3. That's a great score. Look at those 2 density scores, spring and summer, 100% on the density. Fall drops off just a little bit at 66.7. Seedling vigor at 60%. That is a solid variety. Solid variety. It's ranked 72.2 on the overall Turf Performance Index. If the fall density score might concern us a little bit, that's when Poa annua starts to germinate. 66 isn't bad. If that is a big issue, look at 007. 007, 30.8 on the color, 83.3 on the Dollar Spot, 50 on spring density, 50 on summer, and 100% on fall. So this is giving you, the superintendent, the facts you would need to start making decisions on what seed you want to use. matching a management program to those seeds so you can get the right varieties to do the right things for you on your fairways. We've got lots of other choices here, but I think you get an idea of how these things work. And this essentially is what the Turf Tech tool is doing. This is Moneyball for Turfseed, and we will see you next time.